Okay, in this video, in the last video, I've created the HTML, but I've yet to style my look and feel to what it's supposed to look like. Okay, so this is the actual render. I'm gonna include some CSS. First off, I want to center my picture, my image placeholder. So I'm gonna create a new file. I'm gonna link this CSS file. I'm gonna save it first. Save it in my folder. Create a CSS folder. I'm gonna name it custom. So back in my HTML document, I'm gonna create an external CSS link. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna do a quick refresh, and immediately you will be able to see the custom.css linked up here again. In Dreamweaver, you're able to edit the CSS directly in the same file. Okay, so first off, I'm gonna set some styling to the center pick, which refers to all my image placeholder div. Okay, so there are a couple of them, 3 of them actually. So I'm gonna align the content inside the div to be in center, and I'm gonna create. Okay, so let me first demonstrate how this is supposed to look like. So now that my div, my image is being centered, I'm gonna create some margin here to push the unordered list and the list item downwards. So I'm gonna create some margin. Okay. So this is what it's gonna look like. Okay. Next, I'm gonna set the image placeholder in the center pick div to be a fixed height and width, because I'm gonna upload images from my camera directly, so I want it to be fixed to a certain size. So the image placeholder is going to be defined to a certain size. Okay, so I'm ensuring that this image is always 190 by 190 pixel. Okay, so in my edit page, I want my button to be clickable, so I want feedback to be given to the users. So I'm going to create a red border whenever I click on this image. So on the page, only to the image placeholder on the page, edit contact, center pick div, image placeholder when it is active. And I'm going to apply this to the same image placeholder when it's active on the add contact page. Okay, so these are the 2 places where the image placeholder can be clicked on. I'm gonna create a 5 pixel solid red border around it. So now when I click on it, there's a red border that appears. Okay. Next, on the center pick again, on the div image edit, which applies to a few areas. Okay, so I want this label to overlay over my image placeholder like this. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set its position to be relative. I'm going to move it 40 pixel upwards, and I'm going to set the height to be 0 pixel. Okay, so I'm gonna move it upwards, but there is still some space here. That's because this is the residue space from the text. So I can remove that by setting the height to be 0 pixel, and again align it to the center. You don't have to do this, but just in case. So now that the space is being removed. Okay. So now I'm gonna make sure that these two blocks use the same row. So I'm gonna define the UI block A space to be floating left and the width to take up 25%, and UI block B to float right and to take up a width of 60%. Okay, looking good. And my button location, I want the label to be displayed in the center. So my button location, which is stated on all the location button, text, align it to be in center. But for jQuery Mobile, it has actually set some custom predefined CSS to align it to the left. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to overwrite this center and declare it as important. So it will override all the other preceding CSS styling. Okay. Okay, so now I have the almost completed app with all my CSS applied, except for the map view. Okay, looking good.